Thanks for joining me on Menopause Unscripted. Remember, the change is just another beginning. Today's episode is sponsored by Tabu, a sexual wellness brand designed to support women through postpartum, menopause, cancer, and more. Their doctor-informed products help combat many of the symptoms that get in the way of a healthy sex life. Think dryness, atrophy, low libido, or low body confidence. As you guys know, a big part of what I do in clinic is help women dealing with painful sex. But you'd be so surprised by how many patients ask me, can I bring my husband or my boyfriend and can you explain it to him? And honestly, I love when they do because these conversations matter. After menopause, postpartum, or even cancer, our bodies change. These changes can make intimacy more difficult, and that can be hard for you and for your partner to understand. So I tell them two things. If you guys want your sex life back, you have to, number one, schedule sex. And believe me, guys like that prescription. And number two, you need the Golden Hour Kit Luxe by Tabu. It is the non-hormonal, doctor-informed kit that every woman dealing with painful sex or low libido should have on her bedside table. Inside, you'll find a clinically backed hormone-free vulva moisturizer, a heated wand massager. It's modeled after a dilator and warms up to 97 degrees, which is seriously magic, an organic water-based lubricant, and even a step-by-step guide on how to make intimacy part of your routine. And if you're a patient of mine, you've heard this 100 times. A sexual wellness routine is essential. So my advice, invest in the kit and make time for intimacy. To learn more about Tabu, head to heytabu.com and use the code Dr. Heidi at checkout for 15% off. Welcome back to another week of Menopause Unscripted. I am in Santa Barbara this weekend for both a wedding and a conversation with one of my favorite people. This is Natalie Fretwell. And we're taking advantage of an opportunity to see each other in person, which is fabulous. Yeah. And she has founded a women's healthcare company called Tabu. And I am so happy to kind of tell you all that I am a medical advisor for Tabu. So if this sounds...
One of our first.
Oh, I'm so excited
Importantly,
about that too. Yeah. Importantly. But also, like, if this sounds like I'm a giant fan, it's because I am. It's something I really believe in. And so just kind of giving that caveat, if it sounds like I'm fangirling out, I am. So there's that. You have one of the best founder stories I've ever heard. And I tell people, like, I don't know, my synopses of it all the time. Yeah. It's probably half incorrect. So could you talk us through your founder story?
Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy to be here. Finally, I'm such a huge fan of the podcast and obviously of Dr. Heidi because you are one of our very, very first advisors at Tabu. And I could go on and on about how many things that you teach me every single day. But founding story for us. So I'm a marketer. I've been a marketer for the bulk of my career. I started in crisis communications in DC before moving to the Bay Area where I joined a company called Collective Health. And that was my first kind of foray in like the healthcare world. And I had a tremendous experience there before moving down to Southern California. I started consulting for a few brands, primarily in the health tech space. And then I found my home as the VP of marketing at the Chernin Group or TCG Capital, which is an investment firm really focused on building thoughtful consumer brands and platforms across a variety of different verticals. And while I was there, the menopause category was really heating up. As you've seen, there were so many different point solutions coming to market. People were really paying attention to this season in life. And similarly, the sexual health the sexual health category was also growing. People were starting to think about sex as like part of the wellness conversation. But I didn't see a lot of overlap between those two ideas. But anyhow, one day I learned some outrageous facts about how prevalent the sexual health side effects of menopause are. Things Terrifying. That you know very well, that I'm sure your audience knows too, but I'm just going to restate it, that up to 90% of us women can experience pain or discomfort during sex, so much so that 50% of us just stop being sexually active in our 50s. Those numbers change later on, and there's like really interesting statistics around, nursing homes and things like that, and sexual activity and whatnot. But there's this giant drop off during this really important moment in our life, which is menopause. And I had never thought about this problem. I was a 30-year-old woman at the time. I thought menopause and hot flashes, and that was pretty much my extent of knowledge about this second puberty I was going to go through, right? Mm-hmm. And so I remember I hung up the phone and I texted my mom out of the blue. And I said, hey, do you or your friends have pain or discomfort during sex? And my mom on like a Tuesday afternoon just laughed at me. Like she has like so many ha-has, like, I think I still have like screenshots.
Like you still have it?
I still do, actually. I should find it. And she was like, who are you? And what have you done with my daughter? Like, why are you asking me this really absurd question?
Right. Out of the blue.
Out of the blue, no context. And then once we got through like the absurdity of it all and like, why are we talking about this? She opened up and we had a really like sobering and honest conversation. She admitted it wasn't just physical, but deeply emotional, you know,
Was
really
this the first conversation ever?
This was the first conversation I have ever had with my mom about sex. Like my mom never gave me the green light to use tampons, never let me shave my thighs. Like my mom is like a conservative, religious Muslim woman from the Middle East. Like this was a weird conversation for her and for me, you know, but she was so vulnerable in that moment. And I was so grateful to her for being so vulnerable because it made me understand her so much better. Like I was like, you're going through something. And I talk to my mom at least once a day. She's one of my best friends in the whole wide world. I adore my mom. And I had no idea that this part of her life was affecting her in this way, or that she was going through these changes. It's totally behind. It's taboo. You don't talk about it. Right?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
It's going to happen a lot. I can't help it.
You can't help yourself.
I really can't help it.
You know, I'm thinking about, did I shave my legs this morning?
Yeah,
sorry. I'm like, did I shave?
Yeah.
I'm going to a wedding.
Yeah,
exactly. Check before I leave here.
You should check. So anyways, a long-winded way of saying it kind of opened the door for this problem that I became obsessed with. Like I was like, okay, there's something here and why aren't we talking about it? Like, why don't we ever talk about this? I started talking to my aunts, family friends, my mother-in-law and I have gone there. Oof. And I learned that so many women in my life whom I loved, feeling just like my mom. So my next move was to go to doctors like yours truly. And I learned so many things, obviously. I learned that there are hormonal solutions, there are non-hormonal solutions. I'm sure we'll get into a lot of that. But the thing that I heard over and over again from experts like Dr. Heidi and different, you know, pelvic floor physical therapists, gynecologists, urologists, like you name it, was that they were telling patients to think of sex differently. Think of it the same way you do your diet, your exercise, your hair care, your skin care, that you need to treat it as part of a routine to help maintain a healthy lifestyle and to help maintain this part of your body. The use it or lose it idea was brought up constantly. And so it was really thinking about products that support our sexual health in those same terms as just general wellness and like the same, you know, build a skincare repertoire, build a sexual wellness routine. Like you have to think about these things in similar terms. And so that really floored me because in practice, that means that you have doctors telling women, prescribing almost, to go out and buy a vibrator, lubricant, and just think of sex differently. Think about it the way you do anything else in your life. Like if you want to maintain it, you have to invest in it. You have to, you know, keep up these healthy tissues. And my mom, I always joke, my mom can't say the word vibrator out loud. So she's not going to do that. And at 50, I have a really young mom. She's quicker to just assume this part of her life might be over and, you know, or maybe it's like sunsetting. And so that's really the challenge and the opportunity we saw with Tabu was, could we create a brand and product experiences that really celebrated on our sexual wellness as our bodies change, with products that feel more akin to what you would expect from a high-end skincare brand than a sexual wellness company, curated and personalized resources like access to doctors like yourself to ask really tough questions, and just like general education to help understand like how this is part of overall wellness. And so the way we think about our product suite is we really try to tie the symptoms that you're experiencing with the products that we're building. So we have a lot of intention that goes behind the products that we make, from, you know, clinically backed vulva moisturizers to help with dryness, to devices modeled after dilators to help, you know, really like strengthen those vaginal tissues and help gently stretch the vaginal canal, to pillows to help make partnered sex, you know, more comfortable. So we really have tried to create a collection or a suite of products that support women through major life changes, but primarily like when our hormones dip and things don't work as well. And that hormone dip can be menopause, it can be postpartum, it can be because we're on medications, right? That, you know, change, you know, kind of how our body's responding. And so our really goal is to help you understand that these products are just part of life and they're just, you know, part of your wellness kind of collection. They're not something that need to be, you know, you need to be ashamed of or feel uncomfortable buying.
And one of my favorite things is like just the aesthetic behind your brand. I mean, that is such a cultivated look, and it makes people really look at it and think like, this is very high end. And also it does not look sexual. Your company really specializes in non-hormonal treatments.
Yes.
Which is an incredibly important part in this space. And your products really encompass a lot of like the GSM symptoms that we have. So can you tell me a little bit about just the products you make and like the effort that goes into them?
Yeah.
And how they can help support a woman non-hormonally?
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, I think it's important for me to say that we are agnostic with the hormonal conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So like as a brand, because we don't have hormonal based products, it doesn't mean that we don't support folks that are on hormones. Right. I think the beautiful thing about creating lifestyle products like we do is that they support both women who are taking estrogen or progesterone or testosterone, whatever you're taking, and those who are not, and for a variety of different reasons. And so women often come to us to feel like, okay, I want to get this part of my life back, and how do I do that? And so what we do is we first and foremost listen to folks. So we say, what things are bothering you? We do a lot of surveys with our community. We do a lot of office hours with you at the helm, answering questions from women to see, what are the key issues that women are going through? And then what types of products can we build to support those issues? We also do a lot of interviews or conversations with our medical advisors.
You have a great team of medical advisors.
And we have a fantastic, top-notch team of medical advisors. And from all different disciplines, right, that are approaching this problem from a lot of different angles. And I think who are importantly having different kinds of conversations with patients about intimacy and sex and, and sexual function overall. And so, and one of the things, back on the medical advisor piece is one of my favorite questions is, what products would you prescribe to women for this? And what do you wish they did differently? Or what do you wish how do you wish they were made? Or are there products that you like, but you think they could have be better? And so we really rely on that kind of expert angle or, guidance from our medical advisors. So the way we think about it is we look at the suite of symptoms. I would say primarily we look at dryness, atrophy, and low libido and low body confidence. Those are kind of the primary things that we really measure our products around and kind of design our products around. Dryness, it's easy, right? Or it's not easy. I shouldn't say it's easy. It's more simple, right? You have moisturizers that can help, vulva moisturizers. You have lubricants that can help. Moisturizers, importantly, help you daily, just as a regular application, the same way you think about your face moisturizer, your body moisturizer. That little lady needs some help too. Importantly, because she's dry. So we got to give her some love. And ours is called Creme de la Vie, and I am obsessed with it. I joke often, and it's not a joke because it's real. My husband is also obsessed with it, but for his face. And so he puts it on his face. He does. We have a jar in our house. He puts it on his face every morning. And I'm like, it's not for that. He's like, it's an excellent moisturizer. And he just gives me
I need to try it.
And he's like, it's fantastic. Don't tell me not to put it on my face. I'm like, all right, you can keep putting it on your face. But it's a very clean, and he's like, in his perspective, he's like, skin is skin. It's a very clean product. We know because he made it with, we made it together.
Right.
So why wouldn't I put it on my face? So, Kyle, put it on your face.
I'm just thinking, if I put it in a jar and give it to my partner, will he like it? Because if I can't tell him what it is, right?
You can't. No, it's just it's a very light, non-scented.
I use mine every day. I literally, I have it. I mean, part of my evening routine, because I'm on all the hormones because of my situation, but I very literally use my estrogen, testosterone, on the bits. And then I put my creme de la vie over the top of that because it's a layering. It's kind of you think about your face. It's you don't just put one product on, right?
Totally.
And so, it's,
think about all the things we put on our face. We put so many things on our face, and most people don't put anything on there.
How many things did you put? How many things did you put on your face today?
I put, oh my God, that's embarrassing. I put 3 things on my face before I put makeup on. Yeah. So that's a lot of things.
Right. So, this is the same.
Same thing.
Keep it moisturized.
So keep it moisturized. Yeah, keep it, but don't just moisturize it with anything.
No.
So keep it moisturized. And also when it comes to intimacy, a lubricant is your best friend. And so we have, both really, I think, quality products there. And we wanted to make sure that we made a lubricant that, nourishes our tissues. It has hyaluronic acid in it and aloe, and it's not stripping of their moisture, which is what a lot of lubricants on the market can do, is it makes it slippery in the moment, but then, your tissues are left in worse shape. And so that's the moisturization part of it. And then the stimulation part of it is really important too. So we know that vibration therapy is really important at keeping our muscles and tissues healthy. And so, and we also know that dilation therapy is really important, right? And a lot of what we heard from our medical advisors was that they prescribe dilators often. Yeah. But women really don't like using them. And
it is a hard thing.
That's a hard thing. And that's, I remember Dr. Barb Dupree told us, one of our medical advisors, she's like, I tell people all the time to use these things, but why would you want to use it? It's not comfortable. Dilators they start small and they get bigger, and they, of course, like so you can choose the size that is right for you, and you can graduate to different sizes, but it's just a therapy that takes a long time that is really hard to get people to adhere to and to see real results. But not to say that it's not an important one, right? So one of the things that she told us was that what if we made it a vibrator? What if we made it vibrate?
Mm-hmm.
And what if we also made it heat up?
Genius.
And so the heating is what stimulates the blood flow. And so
Mm-hmm.
that really gets harder as we get older. And the shape models a dilator, so you can eventually insert it over time. You can use it externally to start and then eventually insert it. And then the vibration, again, just like helps stimulate those tissues.
Yes.
And so that was like our first product to market, and it's called the Nori. People really like it, and I think it's a really good, if you've never bought something like this before, it feels non-threatening. It feels like something that you can actually see yourself using regularly, because that's kind of the key to these products, is it's not a one and done sort of thing. You want to be using them. I think you and I have talked about this, like, let's say twice a week. There's no, textbook guide to this sort of thing, but, try and get into the practice of using these products 2 times a week, maybe just 10 minutes at a time, really help your body start to respond differently. And that's the first of our devices. And then we also have a pearl, what we call the pearl. It's like an egg shape, which you and I spent many, many hours, I think, talking about. And you really were like, I want something that people can hold in their hand, and it's just external, to get people like comfortable using something like this, and it just focuses on external tissues.
Very non-threatening.
And it's very non-threatening. It's like, nothing's going inside of me. I'm just focusing on waking these tissues up, right?
And you can use it on other parts of your body too, which is nice.
Exactly. And it literally looks like an egg. Like if it was left out, nobody would know what it is. And it's totally fine.
Like an egg, a rock.
So that is also one of my favorite products. And then beyond devices, where, if you think about kind of the progression, right? You're helping with the you're moisturizing the tissues. You're, getting blood flow back to the area. And then maybe you're trying to have partnered sex again. And a lot of our members, we call them, haven't been sexually active in like 10, 20, sometimes plus years for many reasons, right? A whole bunch of reasons. But maybe they're dating again at 70, or maybe they're, wanting to reconnect with their partner. There's a whole lot of reasons. Or maybe they just had a baby and they're like, sex is uncomfortable now and I want to get back, back
it's a big
to being
deal.
intimate with my partner. We made a pillow with, I have to give Dr. Kelly Casperson credit here. She was like, make a pillow that looks like a throw pillow.
Yeah.
Because sex pillows exist, wedge pillows exist, intimacy pillows, whatever we want to call them, but they suck. That is just the truth of it. They're hard as a rock. They're ugly. They scream sex furniture. Like, it's not something that you would have on your bed. It's something you would hide. And as a woman, it's something I want to be on, because it's truly an uncomfortable experience. Yeah. And so what we did is we created one that uses dual memory foam. So it's a bit harder memory foam in the middle, in the core, to maintain its shape, and then softer on the outside. And it looks like a throw pillow that belongs on your bed, because it's like wrapped in a customizable linen cover, so you can match it to your decor. It is not the cheapest sex pillow on the market, but it's one that you'll use, right? Because it'll probably always be on your bed. It's like, we have a comment that keeps floating around, that a guy left on one of our ads. It was like, it's my favorite part of my wife making the bed in the morning is because she puts this in the center and it feels like an invitation, like, oh, we have plans tonight.
Yeah.
And I love that, because it's like, it is kind of an invitation. It's kind of like a reminder of like, hey, do we want to do this tonight? We have this thing right here, and it's like more fun for both of us. And it's, and so importantly, like, what the wedge pillow does is it raises our hips, it raises our pelvis to give you, as a man, it gives you more control with entry. And so that's really important, as our bodies are changing, and because sometimes certain positions can be really painful for us women, but we're not vocalizing that. We're not telling our partner that, because sex is really hard to talk about, especially if you've been together for so long. And then importantly, that also helps you find the right spot for, pleasure for women. It's more pleasurable for women to have our hips raised. And you can use it in a variety of different positions. It also supports our lower back. In certain positions, it can support your knees and your wrists. So it's really, can do a lot. It's kind of a jack of all trades. So that's the right phrase. But it really can do a lot. And I think that it's like, I think that it can really transform the bedroom if you're dealing with, painful intercourse with a partner.
Today's episode is sponsored by Tabu, a sexual wellness brand designed to support women through postpartum, menopause, cancer, and more. Their doctor-informed products help combat many of the symptoms that get in the way of a healthy sex life. Think dryness, atrophy, low libido, or low body confidence. As you guys know, a big part of what I do in clinic is help women dealing with painful sex. But you'd be so surprised by how many patients ask me, can I bring my husband or my boyfriend and can you explain it to him? And honestly, I love when they do because these conversations matter. After menopause, postpartum, or even cancer, our bodies change. These changes can make intimacy more difficult, and that can be hard for you and for your partner to understand. So I tell them two things. If you guys want your sex life back, you have to, number one, schedule sex. And believe me, guys like that prescription. And number two, you need the Golden Hour Kit Luxe by Tabu. It is the non-hormonal, doctor-informed kit that every woman dealing with painful sex or low libido should have on her bedside table. Inside, you'll find a clinically backed hormone-free vulva moisturizer, a heated wand massager. It's modeled after a dilator and warms up to 97 degrees, which is seriously magic, an organic water-based lubricant, and even a step-by-step guide on how to make intimacy part of your routine. And if you're a patient of mine, you've heard this 100 times. A sexual wellness routine is essential. So my advice, invest in the kit and make time for intimacy. To learn more about Tabu, head to heytabu.com and use the code Dr. Heidi at checkout for 15% off. And there's been, now this is the third podcast I've recorded where this topic has come up.
Okay.
Where we've been talking about like return to intimacy and signaling. Like, today's a good day to try with me.
Yeah.
And the pillow, I think, is a really great way to do that. As is, I think, the pearl, because the pearl could very much be used in partnered play.
Totally.
And it's so innocuous. It's like, and this came up with like a different toy, like on another episode where you could take this part and like literally leave it out on the nightstand.
Yes.
And this is a signal, right? And I think you could really use the pillow that same way of like, today's a good day to try with me. Yeah. You know, and the partner sees that. Yeah. You know, and you kind of get that little excitement, right? But it takes away some of the like awkward verbal, you know, you can have that kind of nonverbal cueing. Yes. And signal for like somebody who maybe is like the low libido partner. And this has been like the big conversation topic of like, how does a low libido partner signal? And then the high libido partner gets that signal. Yeah. And it helps them to kind of meet in the middle. Yes. And I think that these would be two really great ways to do it with your particular products.
Totally. And I think that we're bad at initiating as women. Like I'm really bad at it. Horrible. I started a sexual wellness brand and I still don't think I can do it. You know, I was going to say, bad at it.
Like, can you say the word vibrator now?
I don't say the word, like, importantly, we don't call our products vibrators.
I just think that when you said your mom.
I know my mom. It's like, me too. So no, I'm really bad at it. And I think that you're right. Like, this is a good way to be like, hey, I'm giving you a hint. And you know what this means, and this is the most I'm going to say about this topic, and I hope you pick up on it. You know,
I mean, this is what I do for my life. I'm like, the conversations are remarkably hard once you bring them home. It's like, I can tell you what to practice. It's really hard in practice. I recognize how difficult it is, so I really
and I think that brings up another point is that I often hear like, oh, I have a partner, so I don't need that. Yeah. Or when it comes to devices, as an example, or like I'm not in menopause, so I don't need a lubricant, or I don't need a moisturizer. And okay, like I'm not going to argue, right? But I think that's a fallacy. Like it's not a whether or not you're in a relationship, you need these things. These products don't replace your partner at all, and if they're just additive to the experience. You know, I've been saying lately, you know, what happens in your bedroom is your business. My business is making it better. Like, I just want to help you in the bedroom with products that are designed for your body, like designed to make this part of your life feel really good. Yeah. And I think that, you know, we're moving past this idea that like men feel threatened by these things, and that is all changing. And I think we should take advantage of that as women, especially because it is harder to talk to your partner about sex the longer you've been together. Because if you just started off in your relationship, you can be like, okay, I'm going to be vocal about this, or I'm going to say what I need and whatnot. But if you've been together for 10, 15, 20, 50 years, and you've never once said, I don't like this, I like that, that's so much harder to muster up the courage to say, because suddenly you're like, is he going to think that I've never liked it? Or is he going to think that this is not, you know, I'm not attracted to him anymore? And all these things. And So I get that. I totally understand that. So I feel like it's so important for us to have these conversations with women, but it's equally as important for us to have these conversations with men, because not only do our interests or our needs change over time, our bodies really change.
Yeah.
Right. And so what used to really work might not work anymore.
No.
Or you could be totally turned on, but dry.
Yeah.
Right. So like we have to kind of, these need to be a conversation on both sides. And I think whether or not you have a partner is kind of, to me, it's an irrelevant part of the conversation.
100%.
You know?
This has come up in like the office hours before with us, is that, you know, the needs of like, how do you reach orgasm? And I think this is a great transition to like talking about like this part of it. The needs of reaching orgasm totally change.
Yes.
And what you needed at 20 might not be what you need at 50 or whatever. And it could be changing, and it could be before and after pregnancy.
Yeah.
It could be before and after like the menopause transition. Yeah. It could be later. You know, our bodies change. You could be somebody who's, say, 70. And things have been great until 70, just theoretically here. But maybe you start a new medication, and that medication now changes things. Yeah. And I can say from experience, it's like after going through like the chemo stuff, literally it does not matter how turned I am. It doesn't matter what I do. Yeah. There's no moisture being produced. Yeah. And I can't do anything to change that. So adding things with moisture is really important in trying to get my partner to understand that this is a me problem, literally, not an us problem. That's been really hard for us. And like, you know, it definitely makes me have reservations and have like this like loss of body confidence in a way, because I'm sitting, I kind of go, oh wow, like my body won't do what I want it to do. Yeah. But then there's also that kind of feeling for him, I think, of like, what used to work doesn't work anymore. And so you have that like relationship issue where you start having like kind of that push-pull where you're trying to make sure that people understand that this is literally a medical only problem. Like this is a medical problem. It's not a relationship problem, and hopefully it doesn't become one.
But it can become a relationship.
It can one, which
so
is where
easily.
Sex therapists sometimes need to get in the mix, because the conversations are hard. Yeah. So
100%. I mean, I'm still breastfeeding. You know, I have a 9-month-old baby, and so my body doesn't respond the way that it used to. And that is hard to understand, you know, like and I talk about these things all day long, just like you do. And, you know, not in the same clinical way that you do, of course, but I feel like I should be so comfortable with these topics, and I'm not in my personal life. Yeah. And
I feel shy sometimes.
I feel so shy.
I'm like, I'm not a shy person. Why am I so shy?
I know. I'm like, I think there's just this, you know, if I don't know, you just think that you should be much more comfortable with it. But
when you work in this space,
but we're all figuring it out, you know.
Very much. And like, I mean, think about like, I think all the time about like Grace and Frankie, you know, in that show. I mean, it's like
I DM'd them once.
What?
I DM'd them once.
Did they respond?
No, but I said, I stole your company. I stole your idea.
I mean, the lightweight.
Pay attention to me.
You didn't make Yam Jam.
No, I didn't. But I tried to get their opinion.
I mean, but truly, like, I can't tell you how many people I've said in clinic. I'm like, have you seen Grace and Frankie? And people are like, yes or no. If they're like, yes, I'm like, this is the real life version. Yes. I'm like, not related, but this is it. It's lightweight.
I wish it was related.
Right? It's lightweight for your wrist. Yes. It's non-threatening.
Exactly.
I've said that so many times.
Totally.
It's truly like, I have a cabinet and then like a backlog. Yeah. Not of things for purchase at the office, but just show and tell. And like the things that are like kind of in the cabinet are the things that I recommend the most, because they're like right there. Yeah. But also, like, of all of those things, truly, like, your products are like the least threatening, which I think is so great, because not any of them are threatening, but like, you look at a box of dilators. This is an overwhelming kind of concept, right, for somebody. Yeah. Or some things, like, they just like look a little bit more, I don't know, difficult to use. And you show someone something that's like, it's white and it's simple and it like looks kind of friendly. Yeah. You know, and like, it's like kind of an easy thing for someone to go like, I can do that. Yeah. You know, and it's muscular stretching versus just like everything else. And we've talked about this before. It's like, if we're too tight, I know, things don't work. Right. And part of that happens with pain of sex. So like kind of going back to like sexual wellness versus like kind of the GSM stuff, like tell me, like, let's talk a little bit more about that topic, because we talked about the pillow a little bit, but like, let's talk about the other stuff too.
So the other symptoms, you know, the GSM symptoms, or the genitory syndrome of menopause. So the way that we think about it is like, the more blood flow we can get to this area, the better things are going to be.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we measure is what we, with our community, is we try to measure outcomes, right? And it's not, we're not like doing like a double blind clinical trial here or anything like that, but we do try to get feedback from our customers as often as possible. And one of the things that we measure is, how has this changed dryness?
Mm-hmm.
How has this changed, your atrophy, if you're experiencing atrophy, and we kind of understand like what different issues our customers are experiencing based on like input forms and things like that. How has it changed your libido, importantly, and your self-confidence? So those are kind of like the focus areas for us. And importantly, I think what we're seeing is that women who are using these products weekly are seeing overwhelmingly positive results. So that weekly mark is really important, because if you're using the products weekly, that means you're investing in in intimacy weekly, and you're investing in sex weekly. And so it's always very important to me that I don't say like, hey, the Nori is going to solve your atrophy. Yeah. Or, I want to be careful about that.
You're not making claims.
I'm not making a medical claim.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help you have more sex. That's my job. That's what I think about all day long, is how do I help you have more sex? And my products help you have more sex. And regular sexual activity can help these GSM symptoms that you're experiencing. Yeah. The ones that we specifically track are, again, like dryness, atrophy, low libido, and low body confidence. Those are the ones that we really focus on. Painful sex is kind of like a catch-all almost, because like a lot of those kind of feed into painful sex. But those are the things that we track. And I mean, the results have been really exceptional. And I think low body confidence, while not like squarely a GSM symptom, I think that it's like a byproduct of going through these problems, because you're having less sex. Sex is directly tied. It is very correlated to how you feel about yourself. Mm-hmm. And obviously relationship health is connected to that too. And all of that really affects how you feel personally. And so that's one of those that I'm really, really proud of, is that, if you're using these products weekly, after just a couple of months, 76% of women report a dramatic increase in their self-confidence, which I think is like huge number. Really, really big, because it's one of those intangibles, right? Yeah. Like, I'm proud of the fact that, a lot of people are, I think 90% of women are seeing improvement in their dryness, 80 some odd percent in atrophy. Low libido is a big one that we track. I think that we're at like 83% of women see an increase in their libido after just a few months. So that's a great improvement. Yeah. But again, it's not the product specifically that's doing it. It's the fact that you're using them, and the fact that you're being active sexually, that's helping get like this part of your, like, it's kind of like turning a light on, in this part of your body, and kind of like fueling good behaviors that are sending signals to your brain of like, hey, I like this feeling. My body likes to be touched. I'm reminding it weekly, and I'm seeing the benefits of that over time.
And it's like, I mean, we've said this more than I can even think, but like in the office hours, like how sex begets sex.
Yes.
And like for a lot of women, I think that if they can find ways to make it pleasurable again and figure out what they like with their bodies now, it might help our shyness and our ability to communicate. Yeah. But also, like, because I mean, if you don't know what's happening with your body, how are you supposed to communicate it with a partner? There's just no way.
You wouldn't, yeah.
But also, like, it's like a stretching routine. Mm-hmm. If I'm thinking like, I'm going to try to get down this week. Yeah. Am I going to not stretch before then? Like, I mean, honestly, it's like, at this point, it's like, if I am stretching routinely, I know it's going to be better. Mm-hmm. And right now, like, one of the other things I've been dealing with lately is I can tell if I haven't stretched recently, because my urinary stream is different.
Really?
And so I started having some weird, like,
that's so interesting,
like, problems with voiding, like last spring. Mm-hmm. And I started having some problems with like incomplete voiding, or like my stream being less. And I hear this from patients all the time. And I'm like, I know that. Mm-hmm. But if my musculature is tighter, I get that symptom more. Yeah. If I stretch more routinely, it helps my urinary symptoms also.
Totally.
So it's like, there's so many reasons to kind of think like, this is good for me. Yeah. And let's be honest, if it's pleasurable, you're going to do it more.
You're going to do it more. Yeah. Well, and that's such an important point. I think so many of our customers tell us that using our products and being sexually active again has helped with their incontinence. Mm-hmm. Some has helped with their prolapse. Like because it's activating these muscles downstairs that maybe you haven't in a while.
This whole system.
And it's, again, like I keep wanting to be careful, because I'm not trying to say like, use the Nori, fix your prolapse. But I think that it kind of gets back to, if you're keeping this part of your body active and healthy, you're going to see a lot of benefits, right? And that it's going to be a piece of the what do you like to say? Like, it's going to be part of the story of recovery,
Sure.
right? And I think it's one that if it feels good, you're more likely to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's why, you know, it's not as simple as like, let's just use a dilator. Like, let's make it feel good so that you do it more often. And the more often you like it, you're just going to, you know, your brain's going to be like, let's keep doing that. Let's do it over and over again. It's kind of like when you get addicted to exercise. Like, you may not like exercising every day, but like suddenly you're like, I like that feeling that I had, that post-run high. I'm going to keep doing it. Like the runner's high, right? Like, I'm going to do it again. And so, but you just have to kind of get over that hump.
Tell me a little bit about why, as a company, Tabu doesn't focus on pleasure, like as that being a topic.
We don't focus on pleasure because for so many women, particularly women in midlife, feel like pleasure is this nice to have and not a need to have.
Okay.
And so when you start the conversation around pleasure or play, or when you talk about toys, women who are dealing with dryness, incontinence, low libido, low body, like when they're dealing with all these symptoms that we've talked about this whole episode, they're not in a playful mood. Yeah. They're certainly not thinking about pleasure or play.
They're not thinking about the nice things.
They're not thinking about the nice things. They're thinking about the very real symptoms that are going on with their body. And so we really focus on, we often say, like, we're talking about your health before we're talking about your pleasure. That doesn't mean we don't think your pleasure is important. But we want to help you understand how using tools or how regular sexual activity can help alleviate the symptoms that are keeping you from a healthy sex life. We want to fix the dryness so it doesn't hurt walking down the street. We want to fix the atrophy so that you can put a tampon in easily if you need to.
Or have a gynecological exam.
Or have a gynecological exam. Or like not be afraid to go see pelvic floor PT, right? Yes. Like all of these things are just going to help your overall health and well-being. And so don't think about it from like a position of like, oh, I need to go get myself off suddenly for like a pleasurable experience. Like really think about, how do I address these very real symptoms that my body is going through because I'm going through this very important transition in life. And once we kind of get there, we can open the door to pleasure in a way that I think a lot of women who are not used to prioritizing their own pleasure, or who often, you know, sexism have been about a different person and maybe not themselves, or it's been, you know, I would say particularly women who don't feel like these conversations usually represent them, particularly by the way that these products are generally marketed and how they are talked about. And so that's why it's really important to me. Like, I don't use the word vibrator. I don't use the word pleasure in my marketing. I don't talk about those things as much as I talk about the symptoms that you're going through and how regular sexual activity can alleviate those, because I know the pleasure part can come after that. And I really think about my mom, you know, which is a weird thing to say. Like, it's weird to say anything about my mom in this circumstance, because my mom is somebody who would die hearing me say this, but also would like never buy something like this. Like, my mom is a wonderful, beautiful, perfect woman, but is deeply uncomfortable by this topic. In many ways, I'm deeply uncomfortable by this topic, as you know, it's hard to talk about these things. So like, we're named Tabu on purpose because we're trying to reach that woman who is so unlikely to buy something like this, but could really, really use these tools. Yeah.
And I mean, and that's such a huge, important topic, because there's so many people who think that this is not for me.
Yes.
And we face that in pelvic floor PT a lot, where women come in and we introduce this idea of using tools and internal exams and internal manual work. And that can be a real hard no for people at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so we start like externally and then try to kind of work to these things. And for some women, we never do anything internal if they're, you know, if it's just not something that they want to do. But giving them a place and getting them to the place that they think that this is something that I could do for me, and thinking of it as a health related, medical related need versus something that is maybe sexual per se, you know, making it wellness versus sexual, I think can help kind of bridge that gap, and giving them tools versus toys that do feel non-threatening and feel medical, you know, so to speak, versus feeling sexual, can make it a lot easier experience for women to then kind of make that first initial leap that is so scary.
I was telling my team recently that I was like, I feel like sex as an industry has had bad representation for like many decades. Like media and the adult industry has done so many of us a huge disservice, because truly intimacy is healthcare. Like that's really what we have to remember, is that it's one of the most tried and true wellness hacks, or, there is, right? Like we've understood that for thousands and thousands of years. But because of this like hypersexualized moment that we're in, we're alienating a lot of people, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are uncomfortable about these topics because we've maybe pushed boundaries too far for some, right? And so I think that we want to be the brand or the place people come to where they're not worried about what's going to show up in their inbox, right? Mm-hmm. Or they're not worried about what's going to show up at their doorstep, or like feel uncomfortable by, maybe like crude language or imagery or topics, right? That sure. make them uncomfortable. And that's not to say that I think there's anything wrong with those things. I just think that it's, for a lot of people, the industry has gone too far in one direction. And I want to represent folks that want to have a healthy sex life, right? But are dealing with things that are very real symptoms, mm-hmm. and want to solve that so that they can, maintain relationships and with their partner or with themselves.
And you're kind of at this really interesting intersection, right? Because we have this momentum that has been building for the last few years behind mm-hmm. women's health.
Yeah.
And part of that involves more conversation about our body, mm-hmm. more conversations regarding sex. Mm-hmm. But the conservative isn't the right word. Like less sexy sex. Does that kind of come through?
Yeah.
Versus like the hypersexualized.
Yes. BDSM,
or like a real male gaze
yes.
sex. We're now kind of bringing it from this like female side, which you find yourself at a really interesting intersection of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a hard thing to meet those.
It's really hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's kind of like hard to square that circle, if that's the way that people say it.
It's a really good way of thinking.
But I mean, we're complex creatures, right? Mm-hmm. And we're not all going to feel the same way about these topics. But I think that there are not enough spaces that recognize that some of these things are taboo. Yeah. But that doesn't mean they're not important to talk about, right? 100%. See, I do it all the time. And so I want people to know that like we're really focused on like the health part of intimacy and the importance of intimacy in your life. And you're not going to see, like weird naked pictures on our website. You know what I mean? Like that's just not what you're going to find. That. You're not going to find that when you come to Tabu.
No, I appreciate that about you. You are, I'm like, I want to look at you.
I know, it's so hot. I made myself blush.
I was going to say, you just made yourself blush.
We're not going to see like weird, abstract bodies on our site.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to wrap up this conversation. Yes. And I thank you so much for meeting with me today. I'm so glad I could see you and squeeze you in person.
I know. Thank you for coming. It's been so lovely to see you.
Soon. I know. We need to do this. We have to make a date with each other.
I know. Get on the calendar. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here for another week. Please follow, subscribe on all the channels. All of those really help. We're on every podcast channel that you love and listen on. YouTube. Oh my God. I need to do that over. I was just going to call you Dr. Natalie. Dr. Natalie.
Doctor of Love.
You are the Doctor of Love. Maybe I don't need to redo that. I mean, it's perfect. You'll be able to find Natalie and Tabu in all the show notes. So don't worry. You'll be able to find her and you'll be able to find the products and be able to follow along and see where to get these products if you are so inclined. And please join us again next week. Thank you for being with us. Now I have to end with the boring stuff. While I am a doctor, I am not your doctor. This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. If something in today's episode resonated with you, please bring this to your own healthcare team and self-advocate. We always are promoting that. I cannot wait for you to join me on next week's episode of Menopause Unscripted for another hot topic.